So my days of buying Christmas presents are long gone. So basically, I leave everything to the last minute, pretty much. I mean, if I find a bargain, I'll get it early. But pretty much leave it all till Christmas Eve. Pretty much give everybody money or a gift voucher. And it's completely and utterly alleviated any stress from Christmas. Then Mum and I go to the Grand. Hello, gorgeous. Mum and I go to the Grand in Brighton, which is also gorgeous. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now, then New Year comes, doesn't it? And I think what New Year does for me is to remind me how antisocial I am, because I cannot be bothered with any sort of celebration. Now, what I've been doing for the last sort of 60 years or so, well, a bit less than that, I suppose. I don't think I started partying until I was about 11. Yes, darling, I know. You know what I'm saying, is always, what are we going to do New Year? What are we going to do? Oh, my goodness. Oh, gosh. We've got to be where the action's happening. We've got to be really popular. We've got to be invited everywhere. We need about 4 options in case one falls flat and another one, there's some, you can't get in or you forgot the tickets or whatever. So you need the sort of go-to, the ABCD plan. Then preparing for the amount of alcohol which one devours, which is basically make sure there's nothing happening the next day. Absolutely nothing to do the next day but slob. And I think that's today, isn't it? Yeah, that is today. And, no stress, no work, nothing, because you're going to feel like, dog's breath for about 4 days. But the worst day will be the first day, okay? So you always kick off the new year feeling absolutely dismal, sometimes even suicidal. I mean, it depends how badly you performed. But I tell you what, I've woken up sometimes. I mean, I've woken up in different countries. Well, I knew I'll tell you, and that's another story. It's one for the book, I think, and one for the book. So basically, I really enjoyed the fact that this year I was going to do nothing. For the first time in 63 years, I was not going to do anything on New Year's Eve, except go shopping, which actually in itself was quite stressful. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the act of going shopping with money. Now, I don't normally go shopping with money. I normally go shopping with a credit card. It's kind of different edge, isn't it? You know that you're going to borrow money. You're not going to actually spend money that you already have. I needed one present, so I managed to get that at a reduced price. So it's a really, really good time to go shopping. I went to TK Maxx, guys, and with a voucher, my mum gave me a voucher. It's a sort of any place voucher. So I didn't have to go to TK Maxx, but I loved TK Maxx until yesterday. I thought, no, this is going to be great. I'm going to buy, flouncy garb and look fantastic in my photo shoot, etc. Well, it was utter rubbish. There was nothing there that that would befit somebody of my perceived social standing and age bracket. Do you know what I mean? It was just so rubbish. Everything in there was rubbish. But worse than that, everything in there was ridiculously overly priced. Highly inflated prices. TK Maxx used to be the place that you went to where you could get stuff for a £5 that, 3 weeks ago had come in at 200 quid. I mean, I did buy a McCartney yellow raincoat for 200 quid, and 3 weeks later I went into TK Maxx and it was 49. Can you believe that? The exact same coat. So I sort of learnt my lesson with TK Maxx. Don't pay the full amount. Wait until they've slashed prices. Well, nothing was slashed yesterday. Nothing. So there were sort of vaguely dance type stuff for Elderescence, for the fusion dance classes I'm doing, but ridiculously priced. And I thought, well, that's a third of my Christmas money. I'm not buying that. There was a fluffy coat I quite liked. Put it on, looked like a shaggy dog. I mean, not in a good way. You don't have the same physique, do you, when you get a bit older? Your shoulders start to drop. So things start to drop when you wear them. You begin to look... if you look at those caricatures of old people, they're bent forward and droopy-shouldered. That's the two giveaways. So suddenly, something that looked quite good 5 years ago is not looking any good anymore. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I do ballet, to try and protect my posture and my gait and my stance. You have to really think about it. And it's also, guys, one of the reasons I'm on HRT, because the thought of, osteoporosis and shrinkage, I really don't like it. I mean, my mum's shrinking before my eyes, bless her. We took photos at Christmas in the Grand, and I was towering above her. And I don't remember her being that small growing up, In my eye, my mind's eye, when we were growing up, she was a similar size to me. But of course, she was, she never was. She was 5'2", I think. But now she must be about 5 foot. I mean, really, shrinkage becomes very marked after about 70, I think. But we start shrinking very early in life, years before that, but in minuscule amounts. So yes, anyway, I absolutely couldn't find anything that looked halfway decent when I either put it against me or tried it on. There was a really nice cashmere jumper, which was nearly all of the money. I just thought, I can't justify that. So we went after that to a very large thrift store who use, it's kind of central delivery. So from their main warehouse, which is probably in London or something, or might even be a northern town, but they get all the stuff donated and it all goes there, and then they take 1,500 items to this shop every week, and they have to get them up. So it took me half an hour to get from one end of the shop to the other. It was just brilliant. I spent £22. There were pound rails. There were £3 rails. I bought a clutch bag, of an Italian Russell and Bromley clutch bag for 50p. I mean, it was just stupendous. The whole thing was just fantastic. I was absolutely thrilled. The first thing I saw as soon as I walked in was a brand new all-in-one shorts and top that is going to be perfect for pole. Absolutely perfect. I bought a couple of shirts that you can tie up over so you don't, us older ladies who don't like to show our arms necessarily. I don't know about you, but mine looked like, I don't know, crispy fried chicken or something, but white. God, it's just so gross. So there are parts of my anatomy that I prefer. I don't want to inflict them on the world. And of course, when you're doing classes, you're putting your body quite up front, aren't you? It's quite there. I also remember I was doing this hen night once. It was like a job I had, and I used to dress up as a dominatrix and just show them how to whip and play some games. I mean, it's really, really horrific. But I had, at the time, it's when my cancer was becoming more and more prevalent, and I had this massive tumour, which you could actually see behind the cat suit. And I wore a belt, but I remember this woman staring at, my nethers. It was kind of, I suppose, my lower stomach, this tumour, this lump. I mean, you couldn't see it. It sort of looked like I was pregnant more than anything. But that was the last time I had to retire from that job because, if you're making a spectacle of yourself in terms of you've got a class in front of you, or you're running a hen night, or you're performing in any way, shape or form, you should really, I think, have the responsibility not to inflict the horrors of your body on the audience, unless you're doing it like, for comedy. But who'd do that with a tumour? I don't think many people would. And just in case you're wondering, it was removed and everything was fine. But I should have really gone much earlier, and I just put it off. I put this off for about 5 years, I suppose, and it was just, increasing in size inside my abdomen. Because I was just too petrified. I was just so incredibly scared, and I had work to do, and I had a club to run. I had all these things. That typical woman thing where you are just too busy doing other stuff, so you don't get around to looking after your health. I think, men are much... It's often quoted as being too afraid and putting their head in the sand. And I definitely had a bit of that as well. But a lot of it was about I haven't got time, because if I suddenly have to have a massive surgery, I'm not going to be able to work. So it was only once I'd given up work due to the illness and a complete breakdown. I've been anemic for years. I mean, just shocking self-abuse, really. And, drinking too much to cover up the pain and all of these things. It's crazy. What a situation to get in. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, I was digressing there. So let's get back to fashion. So, I got amazing shirts that I can, just tie over the shorts and the top that I wear underneath. I got that absolutely gorgeous Russell and Bromley handbag, which is just so cute. It's adorable. Very Y2K. If you're into Y2K, that's year 2000 or that whole decade really. But around about that sort of turn. And I really like that stuff actually now. It's sort of it's enjoying a little bit of a renaissance on eBay and stuff like that. 'Cause I came straight home and I thought, well, what I didn't find today were satin trousers. I really want some satin, like joggers, but black satin to wear for my lessons. So there is a pair on eBay, so I'm probably going to buy those. Bit more expensive, but still less than a tenner with post. So, you can't weigh it up, don't you? You think, oh, well, I didn't find any in the best thrift store in the world that I've just found. I'm not going to tell you where it is. I'm never going to tell anybody where it is. It's my main secret because it's mine. Nobody else's. It's where I get my clobber. I got some really nice velvet trousers and I got this really flouncy floral top. So do you know what I really like? I quite like, guys, something like a kind of rock chick leather trouser, right? And maybe some boots or heels, if you can wear them. And then to take the edge off the sort of, gilf effect of a flouncy, feminine, floral top. Do you see what I mean? I used to say to my kids, if you're going to wear something slutty on the bottom, wear something prudish on the top, and vice versa. Because then it's, it blends into actually the perfect sort of balance. You don't need to signal availability from head to toe. That's what happens when you have girls, you see, 3 daughters. You need to think about things like that. So either a mini skirt or your cleavage hanging out. I mean, they didn't really listen to me, but at least the guidance was there. You have to do that, don't you? I don't think grandmas can do that, can they? Now that I'm a grandmother, I don't think I'd ever be able to say that. I think they'd spit in my eye. Or they'd certainly slap me down verbally and tell me to mind my own business. I think you get to a stage where grandma just kind of looks, but a bit seen and not heard, isn't it? I was brought up seen and not heard, and now I think I'm seen and not heard again. I'm not seen enough either. That's the insult of it all. I really should be seen more. Like when I was a child, seen all the time. Oh, well, that's me moaning about life today. So I am doing a bit of a photo shoot later, which will be really nice. I'm doing my promo shots for the new website, which is over on Patreon. And I'm on Gumroad as well, but I just find Patreon's a little bit prettier and a bit easier because it's, designed for that kind of community, and I guess it's much more interactive. My Gumroad is very much more about downloading all my digital paraphernalia, which you will be able to do. So all the videos and all the instructions and all the PDFs that you see on my Patreon, you don't have to sign up. You can just go to Gumroad and buy them, download them. They're all there. So, that's a really good distinction, I think. One's very much me hands-on, my face, my body, my art classes. We've got a whole hobby section coming up with all the art, which is going to be gorgeous. And then I've got a separate music one. But, it's much more personable. It's much more about me, my face, and you can see me, you can talk to me, you can meet me. So, and buy my books, of course. So have a great day. And, yeah, I'm not hungover at all, which means I can go and do a wonderful photo shoot because I really don't care about New Year.